Train the muscles, not the joints. Welcome back to Natural Gland Bodybuilding. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about range of motion, because we haven't talked about that enough, right? Never talked about that enough. So basically, what we're going to say here, or what I'm going to say, is that I've seen a lot of guys using ranges of motion that are extremely awkward. Like I'm talking about like kissing their own nards when they're squatting, and they have to deadlift and extend the deadlift all the way to the floor, and or when they're bench pressing, they have to bench with their elbows on the floor, you know. And the problem is with this type of philosophy is that the wear and tear that they put on their joints, the body actually knows what's happening. The body will actually know that the joint is in danger, and it sends out warning signals to the muscles. Sometimes it shuts off, nerve supply in some way. Like there's basically a different signal that's sent to the muscle. So one could argue, if there are these protective mechanisms in the body, like the Golgi tendon reflex and muscle spindle and all that, and if there are these reflexes in there, one could argue that when you extend past what the body deems as a safe range of motion, that as a protective mechanism, it will lower the amount of tension in that muscle fiber or the muscles that are being hit in order to prevent a muscle tear. Now, you're either on the side of the body has its own intelligence, or the body doesn't, and you can just manipulate it and control everything to your will. And that's the way a lot of bodybuilders feel. Somehow they feel they're exonerated from the repercussions of their decisions.
Well, it's a great day for a swim. Oh boy. Nothing like a windy fall day for a swim, huh? I mean, the seagulls are doing it. Makes a lot of sense.
And I'm going to say this, that the body does have its own intelligence. I mean, when you eat food, there's a lot of things that go on. The body knows what to do with certain types of food, depending on what food you're eating, whether it's a sugar, whether it's a fat, whether it's a protein, whether it's a mineral, whether it's a nutrient of some sort. And so because of this, we also see that there's intelligence when it comes down to the heart. You know, it pumps without your input, right? You don't have to do anything. It knows when to give you adrenaline, when not to. And sometimes, yes, it does get confused, right? But my main point is that the body does have intelligence. And there are mechanisms like safeguards that come in at certain times. Sorry, I had to stop the car there because ran out of room on my card there. But yeah, there's certain safeguards in the body that if you put the body in a compromised position, what will happen is the body will do something, or, let's just say shut down certain systems at the time in order to help you or to prevent an injury or prevent the body from being in danger. So when you use an extended range of motion and the body sees that the joint is in jeopardy or a possible jeopardy of dislocation or injury of some sort, then it only stands to reason that the muscles will not contract as hard in those situations. They will not be able to generate the same force. And I'm not even talking about the awkwardness of basically being in a strange position, right? Like nobody does the splits on the chairs and then puts 500 pounds on their back and tries to pull the chairs together in some sort of groin exercise, right? There's a reason why they don't do that, because the joint itself can only take so much stress. And there's a point to where the joint is taking an exponential amount of stress in comparison to the muscle, and therefore the structure of the body becomes compromised, and that's a danger sign for the body. So what I usually do with people, and what I've seen with a lot of people, is that I put them through enough range of motion to stimulate the muscle, but understand that the body has been able to put on muscle since the dawn of time through natural ranges of motion, such as climbing hills, such as, pulling yourself up on a tree branch, like a chin up, or sprinting. I mean, all the power sports you can think of when it comes down to jumping or sprinting, none of them are excessive range of motion. But yet, if you look at a sprinter's musculature, you will see that they have quite a bit, especially on the hamstrings, which are being used. And when it comes down to quadriceps, if you look at speed skaters who never bend the knee more than 90 degrees, or people that are doing the Tour de France, or you know, people that are doing long distance bike riding, they have massive quadriceps, but they're not doing excessive range of motion. So the fact that people think you need to do excessive range of motion, I think is hurting more people than actually helping them. And that's one thing I noticed. Like, there was a guy in the gym yesterday, I talked to him about a squat and I watched him squat. He was squatting so low that what was happening is that the muscles in the quads weren't being more challenged by his excessive range of motion. And then all the stress was transferring to his lower back and his hips, but it wasn't creating more tension on his hamstrings and his quadriceps. If anything, it was just making the movement more awkward, so that he had to use really light weight, and one could argue he was never challenging his hamstrings and quadriceps. So the fact is, I think the excessive range of motion cult is causing more harm than good. And if anything, I think it's preventing natural bodybuilders from experiencing their truest and highest potential. So when you're doing your exercises, just be conscious of where you're feeling that tension, and really, you know, find out whether you need to go that extra mile in that range of motion or not. And if it helps you feel a stretch in that muscle, then by all means, that's good. But if you're noticing that you're stretching the muscle to a pretty decent degree, but then you're just making the movement awkward at the bottom, there's a good chance that you're selling yourself short when it comes down to the gains you could be getting.
Come to me! Power of the lake! Normal training and diet's not working, so seeing as I am a natural bodybuilder, I should access the elements of the lake itself, the natural elements. Come to Jason! Natural elements, bless me with your power! Thank you!
So I hope this helps out in your natural bodybuilding journey, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgalantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now.
That should be good for a PR. That's what I'm guessing.